We're back. We are so back. It's the
In a
MUDBALLS.
new location.
We're in a new location. We're still at Puttery. We're in a different corner of Puttery here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm with Ben Boscovich. Alan Shipping's going to join us in a minute here. Interesting day. Really interesting day. I would say, we did the random player generator yesterday just to go through guys. Today, the leaderboard almost felt like a little bit of
It was a random player generator.
It was a little bit of a random player generator. The story of the day is the MUDBALLS.
Yeah.
It's the MUDBALLS. Let's show an all-time clip.
Just can't imagine getting home here with
Mudball. Mudball!
Just can't imagine.
Yelling at it always gets me.
Yelling at
It's we're going to talk a lot about the MUDBALLS. We're going to talk about the big names who are struggling. We're going to talk about the how the course played today. But first, we have a pretty exciting guest.
We have a prestigious guest.
Why don't
yes.
you introduce our guest?
Yes, we have Joanna Coe. She is the head of instruction at Marion Golf Club. Ever heard of it?
Might have heard of it.
Ever heard of it? I'm going to switch places with her and give her the best seat in the house.
Thank you.
So you were one step away from playing in this.
I am in the Women's PGA Championship.
Right.
But to clarify the qualification process, I'd have to play from the back tee in the PPC. And, frankly, I don't want to play from 7,700 yards for the PGA Championship.
Wait, so you played in it, but you were playing different tees?
Correct.
Oh,
so
okay.
women that qualify for it, if we play a forward tee, we're not eligible to play in the men's PGA Championship.
Was there ever a thought of?
No, never.
Not even
I'll
a
take
thought.
the money and run.
Yeah.
But you are going to Frisco.
Yes, I've already qualified that. Different qualifying process. We have our own LPGA Professionals National Championship that is essentially our PPC.
Yeah.
So the top 8 get in. I actually qualified now, it's like a year and a half ago because I had a baby 11 months ago.
Okay.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The LPGA extended a medical exemption, a maternity leave. So I was supposed to be in last June at Sahali, and they bumped my exemption to this June.
So you qualified a while ago, actually.
I did. Now, it might have been 2 years ago. I don't even know at this point.
How many have you played it?
This will be my 6th or 7th.
Okay, so you're racking them up.
So you're at Marion.
Yes.
Philadelphia had the PGA Tour stop through last week. What was that like? We heard Sepp Straka came by on Monday. Did you get to see him, hang out with him at all?
Didn't see Sepp. I know that Rory had dinner in the upper terrace at Marion. I did not go to Philly Cricket. I knew I was going to be away all week this week, but I've played Philly Cricket. It's a wonderful track. I love Tillinghast. Big fan. So we knew that it would be a great test for them, and it was all 4 seasons in one weekend in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So we felt it. I felt it over in the lesson tee at Marion, but it was wild.
What do you think about the conversation that came during the week? It wasn't even afterward. That was like, we need
We need more
this.
golf tournaments in the Northeast.
It's the best golf.
It's the best golf, and the fans are, electric.
Electric. You're going to see it at Bethpage, right?
Yes.
Another Tillinghast, New York. It's going to be wild. Next summer in Philadelphia is going to be huge. We have the USAM at Marion in August, but we start with the PGA Championship in May. So, crowds of Philly Cricket they were bringing it.
Really good, yeah.
It's going to be unbelievable.
Is that USAM sort of like a dress rehearsal for the Open that's coming up?
It's a dress rehearsal, but there's going to be a lot of people. So we hosted the Curtis Cup my first year at Marion in 22. There were thousands and thousands.
We had it
of
at
people.
Quaker Ridge. I was a member of Quaker
Right,
Ridge.
right.
We had it the cycle before.
Exactly.
Awesome tournament.
It was awesome, and it's not a large footprint, so it's great to host it and see people just walking the fairways with the players, kids running around. It was great. So that was a preview to the USAM, and the USAM, it's just a whole other level for the Open, but it gets us excited.
Now, this week, obviously the tournament is everything, right? But it's also a huge opportunity to talk about the PGA of America and all of the things that it has going on at all times. I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming a coach, because, as I understand it, there's amazing, myriad of stories of, how people find their ways to becoming PGA pros, and then also, what they do with that afterward and during. What's your story?
Sure. So I come from a playing background. I played college golf at Rollins in Winter Park, Florida, which amazing women's golf program we've had.
Holly Ledbetter
I was
was
just
there.
going to say that, yeah.
Hallie, my girl, I saw her the other day. But Peggy Kirkbell, Hollis Stacy, I don't know if you know, Pete and Alice Dye went to Rollins, fell in love at Rollins.
Rich golf history.
Rich golf history. So unbelievable program. After that, turned professional, LPGA school, landed on, it's now the Epsom Tour. It was Symetra Tour back then. Played for 4 full years, had a knee injury in between. Played pretty well, but at the end of the day, just kind of lacked a little stability and a little happiness in my life, to be honest.
Lacking happiness is problematic.
Yes,
Yeah.
and people know I'm a very happy person, but when your score is your identity, it's a little rough. So I always taught and helped my golf coach on the side. I knew a lot about the golf swing. I think a little bit more than maybe most female players, to be honest, because most women are just really good listeners. Like a coach tells them what to do and they just do it. But I kind of wanted to understand the behind the scenes of the golf swing, a little bit more of the science. I grew up watching a lot of Mac O'Grady and Grant Waite things.
Grant Waite, that was who George always used to compare. That was like his model.
Exactly.
He's a coach too. He was working with Victor.
He was with
for a little
Hovland the
while.
other day, so I was listening in on their conversation, the golf nerd in me. I decided to just pivot and saw an opportunity at Baltimore Country Club, Tillinghast Golf Course, as a junior golf director.
I'm playing there in a few weeks.
Are you?
Before the Four Caves.
There you go.
Yeah, they just had Big Tens.
Yes.
My buddy won it, Omar Morales.
Omar.
Finished second in the regional, by the way.
Can I ask who your host is at BCC?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you when I know.
Yes, please.
I got a buddy who's a Baltimore guy, and he said we're dialed in, but I don't know who the host is. I'll let you
I'm
know.
sure it's
though.
someone good.
Yeah.
Someone good. I landed there I was there for 6 years, worked my way up to director of instruction, and then I got a call from Scott and I at Marion to offer the director of instruction job there, and I said absolutely. So,
Where are you from originally?
Originally from southern New Jersey,
Oh,
right outside
cool.
of Atlantic City.
Oh, so it's close.
Yes.
What town?
Mays Landing.
Okay, my wife's from. Oh God, now I'm live on the internet.
You don't know where your wife is from?
She's from Medford, New Jersey.
There you go.
Medford.
I just
Okay.
Nice
A little
place.
closer to Philadelphia. So she's an Eagles fan?
Yes, absolutely.
Atta girl.
So you're kind of halfway.
Birds.
You're sort of New
No,
York.
I am 100% Eagles.
Oh, you're
like
an Eagles.
South Jersey's all Philadelphia, North Jersey, Giants, Jets. Some people think Central Jersey exists, but we don't. But yeah, huge Eagles fan. So yeah, anyway, with this whole PGA journey, came from a playing background, and now I have such wonderful balance in my life. I love the game more than ever, more than I did when I was playing for a living. And I teach and coach, and I still play a ton competitively and travel with members and play with members. So it's
What's your relationship with your score like now compared to in your playing days?
I'm still very competitive, but if I shoot 76 in a section of that, I'm like, all right, no big deal.
Yeah.
Whatever, shake it off. I have a baby. I got a full-time job. I got all these things. But I play freer now. I putt way more aggressive because I'm trying to make birdies. I
Right.
made more birdies in the last few years
The
than I ever
four-footer,
made.
the four-footer comebackers aren't as scary when it's not
Totally.
your job.
Everyone calls it Joanna speed because I'm like trying to make everything, but like why not?
Jam it.
I had summer I had 9 birdies in a couple tournaments, so
It's a lot of birdies.
I know.
How has parenting changed your golf other than like the obvious, like the time to practice and the usual stuff?
Honestly, it hasn't changed much. It's just a little lack of sleep and a lot more coordinating with my husband. He's amazing. I have to juggle a lot with the travel that I've kind of put on myself, but it takes a village. But yeah, the actual hours in the day as far as golf haven't really changed. We have a wonderful situation, like a shared nanny in Philadelphia that we found, and we love them, so they've been a huge part of this equation.
How many lessons do you give per year?
Per year?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No one's ever asked you that question before?
They have, but at Marion and in my role, I'm not a lesson factory. I don't want to teach 10 to 12 hours a day, one after the other. We're trying to establish relationships and like a true coaching model. So, an ideal day for me is 5-6 individual lessons, a clinic, a meeting, and something else, and just chatting with members or playing golf. So that's a normal day, I'd say.
Has there been a noticeable uptick though in the demand for you over the past few years?
Yeah, no, in the past few years, there's been definitely an uptick, and then I was able to hire a lead instructor. His name is Nick Iacono, and he's my partner in crime in the lesson tee. So when I'm away, he is working. And I mean, I was on maternity leave too in mid-June as a golf pro, so he is a huge part of this equation, and he's an unbelievable coach, very knowledgeable, and he's going to be a tour pro coach very soon.
Now, a big part of what we've been talking with the PGA about this week is the Find a Coach program. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that and like, what do people not understand about how easy it is to just find somebody that can change your golf game?
I don't know why people are so stubborn to take golf lessons.
People ask me, I'm like a solid player. People ask me all the time. They're like, hey, can you help me? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
There's so many people who are qualified and willing and ready, and this is what they do. Get lessons. It's not an intuitive game. It's not a game that like you're just gonna figure out on your own.
Right.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it's
not everyone's like a Bubba Watson, right?
Yeah.
I've never had a lesson. I don't get it. They will listen to things on YouTube, but they're reluctant to see someone in person, whether that they're a little embarrassed, or I think there's also this perception that a coach is going to completely rebuild your golf swing. You're going to be terrible for a while, and that's just, then you're not a good coach.
I agree. That's one of my things where it's like, you should get. I need, if I'm getting a lesson, I got to get better in that lesson.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a pro golfer. I'm not going to have time to go drill for 3 hours.
Totally. And we have to, in an interview process, when I meet a new student, it's like, well, tell me realistically how much you're going to practice.
Yeah, 'cause
Is
that's
this
gonna
like
impact
a
your
one
coaching.
time?
Yeah.
Like, I need to change a strength and a grip just to get them to close the club face a little bit, then
Right.
fine. But if someone's going to grind a little bit, then great. We can work on a few things. But as the player in me would never want to just completely rebuild someone. I think that's ridiculous. So perhaps that's what happened a little bit more back in the day.
Right.
But I think that coaching is so much better now, so much more fun.
All the information.
Totally.
Yeah.
So it's out there. I mean, everything's just out in
Do you get
front of
overwhelmed by the amount of information and data that's available to you now? Do you kind of like miss the old days a little bit?
At times. You know, there's some really smart people in golf, the Sasha McKenzies and the Scott Lynns, and they're really, really smart. And I'm at these seminars, I'm like, okay, I understand a little bit of this.
That's
Great.
what you just need to understand the concepts.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
awesome.
Exactly.
Well,
It's
Thanks
all
so
about
much for joining
communication.
us.
Yeah.
And thanks for all you do for golfers all over the place, especially in the Philly area where, you know, I'm an in-law to Philly, so a special
You're
place. in
very
my heart.
welcome.
We'll be watching at
Go
Frisco.
Birds. That's right.
Yeah,
Good
luck.
stuff.
Thank you. Thank
All right,
you.
we're gonna bring on our man Alan Shipnuck. You can just hand him the microphone.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joanna.
We're gonna hop into sort of the meat of the first round. The story of the day, but besides the mud balls, just the big names really struggling. We talked about, you know, before the tournament started, we said there were 3 guys, Bryson, Rory, Scotty, and we kind of put JT in that category. Bryson, I think, is 1 under par. Rory shot 3 over. JT is I think 3 over, 4 over. Just a lot of duds.
Definitely some duds. And when you look at the northern edge of the leaderboard, it's scrappy, but there are a lot of good players under par. You've got Hovland, you've got Rahm,
Some blue chippers
Morikawa,
up there.
obviously Scotty. Now, it's only round 1.
Yeah.
Let's let the cream rise a little.
So
but-
that was my take. Like, it's only round 1, but then I kept letting round 1 develop. And I will say, like, water will find its level. The top guys, you know, I fully expect one of the top 20 players in the world to win this tournament. But that doesn't take away from how unexpected today was.
Totally agree with that. Although we did sort of call it last night.
You
that,
did.
Well, I was being generous with the we, but yes, it just feels like a PGA Tour event, and you have a PGA Tour leaderboard with some journeymen, some unexpected names, some scrappers, some grinders, but the course is only going to get tougher, right? Like, there's no more rain coming. The greens are going to get firm and fiery by the weekend. The guys who went out this morning may have caught a really bad break with the mud balls, because if the fairways keep drying up, it's not going to be an issue for the late early starters. So we'll see how sloppy the fairways are tomorrow. You know, obviously it got in the head of Scotty and Xander and maybe Rory a little bit. So that becomes interesting.
They were pissed.
They were pissed. So that becomes an interesting part of it. If the guys who are playing in good conditions this afternoon have, you know, more benign fairways, that all of a sudden that the draw, we talk about that a lot at the British Open, the draw of this PGA could be impactful.
But the golf course does matter, and I'm just looking back to the first round leaderboard for the Masters this year, and it's only 1 round, but it feels like the Masters does an incredible job of sort of identifying the best players. It was Justin Rose, Ludwig Aubert, Corey Connors, Scotty Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, Tyrrell Hatton, Akshay Bhatia, Jason Day, Harris English. So
Yeah.
it's a different caliber.
But it's also, the field's half the size essentially. So you take away some of the randos who are on this leaderboard. They don't even get to.
Having a good day.
They don't even get to get their one day in the sun. So that's a choice the Masters makes to keep it small and elite. And so you're reducing the chances of one guy having the round of his life on Thursday, which we kind of saw today with not the round of his life, but Luke Donald, wholly unexpected, especially
Out
on
of
this
nowhere.
golf course.
Love
he
the
wasn't
swing
in
on that
he wasn't
guy.
in the
So
Masters
good.
field. So it's not really apples to apples. But yeah, there's been a lot of snark thrown at this leaderboard. It'll be let's take a breath and see how it looks on Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
So we're 25% through. We're 25% through. But Rory was a big disappointment today. It wasn't just, it wasn't one of those Rory rounds where he makes 5 birdies and makes a couple huge numbers. He did make a double bogey on 16, but it just nothing was really working.
Yeah, it was interesting. So Rory was the last guy to leave the Champions Dinner on Tuesday.
You saying he was loose?
According to Puttery Harrington, Rory got into the wine a little bit.
Freed up.
When you went his press conference yesterday, he was a little grouchy to start. I think he was hungover.
You think Rory was hungover?
That's the intel, yes. So
Reporting.
yeah, that's just old-fashioned shoe leather reporting. And so, maybe that was good. He sort of took the air out of the balloon. He's like, I'm going to have a little fun. I'm going to let my hair down. But his swing was really loose today. I mean, what did he hit, 2 fairways?
I think it was only 2 fairways.
He was all over the place.
He was all over the place.
But also, he was missing right and left.
Yeah.
That's the danger zone. You can play a one-way miss, but
And that is one of the things about Augusta is like you can miss a little bit. There's windows, especially this year with less trees. Like there were definitely windows out there. So Rory was a big disappointment. Another player that Rick Gaiman kind of talked me into as a sleeper this week is Patrick Cantlay, and I'm off this guy. I'm quitting him. Someone I saw on Twitter called him Patrick Can't Play in the majors.
yeah.
It's a 4 over par for Cantlay, and the delta between his play on the PGA Tour and his play in the majors is large.
And the Ryder Cup. Like he
was a boss.
He's a killer.
President's Cup too. He was great.
I mean, so it is a mystery.
TGL champ.
TGL champ.
Yeah,
It's huge.
I left that out on purpose.
That's huge.
I mean, these guys are not immune to the narrative. Look at Joaquin Niemann. He struggled.
Also shot. I think he shot 3 over today.
So this becomes a thing with Cantlay. Why can't you do it in the majors? Now he's probably thinking, why can't I do it in the majors? And Rory was very transparent about how much all that talk weighed on him. Now he got a lot more than Patrick Cantlay ever will, but these guys know it. Like Cantlay has a nice resume. He has a very good resume.
8 wins, which is more than I expected.
Yeah. I mean,
I just think way less people care if he gets it done in the majors.
Yeah.
Is he a guy that he wins the major, like a strong group of people get excited about?
Well, the
Or is it
Neiman
just
has
like-
the live.
he has a league
to it.
But Cantlay's a good anti-hero. With the Goldman Sachs hat was perfect for all those years, and everyone knows he's been a fly in the ointment in the negotiations with Liv and all the wanting to get paid at the Ryder Cup. Like he's actually adds a little spice. We need that because the PGA Tour is a bunch of nice guys. All the assholes went to Liv, so probably not a coincidence. But Cantlay at least evokes some emotion. So
Yeah, he kind of hangs on that villain line. Like he could go that way. If
he
wanted
could.
to.
He should.
And-
Because I think that's deep in his soul. Like he's
well,
kind of a
the Ryder Cup
grouch.
stuff with Rory, like kind of codified that, right? Like,
100%.
Yeah.
Neiman did shoot 3 over today, and for as much of it's a narrative with Cantlay, it's an even bigger narrative with Neiman because he has been the best player on Live Golf, and there's still time, right? He's only 3 over par. The lead is I think 5 under, maybe 6 under. Does someone get to 6? It's still 5 under.
5, yeah.
So he's not completely out of it, but it feels like this is the second major of the year. He was a dud at the Masters. He's getting all these invites to play, and he's just not showing up. And I think for him, it's got to be extremely frustrating because he's beating Bryson like every week out there. He's beating John Rahm every week out there. John Rahm shot -1. So if I had to redraft, I still would stick with Scotty, but Rahm definitely showed me something today. Colin got it in under par. He did double the 18th though, so he shot
Yeah.
1 under. But Neiman's got to be pressing a little bit.
And it's not just, he's played well on Live, but he won the Australian Open. He's had some great finishes in Europe. Like when he makes cameos at other big time tournaments, he plays well. So he's getting into Rory territory where he's good, 48 weeks a year, except for the ones that really matter. And yeah, no doubt it's in his head. And he looked pressed out there. You can see like the tension lines on his forehead.
when you get over par and it's early and you feel like
Yeah.
there's this narrative going and he only gets 4 cracks out of the year, I think it's definitely weighing on him. Brooks Koepka shot 4 over today. The recent major form for Brooks Koepka has not been very good. There was the stretch, so he almost won the Masters in 2023. Remember, Rahm beat him in that duel. I think they played like 27. It was a marathon that day. I remember
Yeah.
Rahm got him. And then, recently it's been a big time struggle. I don't want to say he's done. He's 35. He's in the prime of his career, but it's looking like that sort of 2023 one where he finished second in the Masters and then won the PGA Championship, it's looking like a little bit of an aberration.
I mean, Brooks has always been interesting because he's never been a dominant force week in, week out on the PGA Tour or Live. You know, he just kind of cruises, and then he found a way to turn up for the majors, and he's lost that magic, whatever that formula was. And is it because he's gotten soft on Live? I mean, that people ask that question all the time. He bats it away. Anecdotally, he's still working hard, but
I think he wants out. I mean, if you read between the lines, when they were asking him about his like contract negotiation, he was like, "Yeah, I have a contractual." You know,
Yeah.
Bryson was like, "I love what we're doing here on Live. This is the future. I believe in everything that's happening."
Yeah. No,
Brooks was like, I'm a free agent. Make me an offer."
Yeah. Well, so you would think in that scenario, winning a major just elevates him to a different level, gives him even more options, gives him more security. If he wants out, you know, no one knows exactly what the future looks like. Winning a major guarantees you're good. So you would think that he would bring some heat to these majors.
I don't think it's a lack of effort. You know.
Yeah.
He's not feeling himself lately. If he's not in a place that he feels like comfortable and happy.
There hasn't been much buzz.
No. Well, and then you look at Dustin Johnson. I mean,
What did he finish at?
15 minutes ago, someone tweeted, Dustin's only beating 7 PGA
Wait,
pros.
how did he finish 7 over?
Yeah, he was like 1 over
What
when we
happened?
were watching.
Oh my God, he shot 43 on the back nine, Dustin
mean,
Johnson. He made a 6 on 11, double bogey 11, bogey 12, bogey 13, bogey 16, doubled 17. No bueno.
No bueno. I mean, it's actually sad because Dustin was such a force in the game. And when you look in recent golf history, guys have had like these 18-month runs, whether it's Jason Day or Justin Thomas or whomever. Dustin's lasted 4.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, basically from Oakmont until
Through
Augusta.
2020.
He was that guy week to week on tour.
He was
That
every.
like-
He was
He was
every
a
week.
monster.
Yeah.
And he
20-something wins.
He kind of had the highest, longest peak of anyone sort of post-Tiger, but he went to Live and he's just completely vanished.
Do you think he's just not grinding like he was?
Not on the golf course. Yeah, I mean, it's too bad because Dustin was so close to being transcendent. You win it at Oakmont and Augusta National. That is a hell of a resume. But
Halfway there.
you still have to say it's disappointing his career arc, as many close calls he had in the majors, as much as he won week to week, all his long reign at number one, is still going to feel like he underachieved. And this Live chapter is going to be a bitter.
Well, he blew a
footnote.
couple. I mean, he blew it.
Oh, he blew a bunch.
He blew it at Pebble. He blew it at Chambers Bay. 3-putted from 12 feet on the last hole.
When Darren Clark won the Open,
Was
that
that
out of bounds
on the par 5 on
Yeah.
14? Where was
Yeah.
that? In England at
Yeah.
Royal St. George's.
Yeah, St. George's.
That was bad.
Bad.
Yeah,
That
so
was
it's
bad.
he probably he feels like a guy who probably should have won.
Well, don't forget Whistling Straits.
Whistling Straits. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to lose some to win some, sure, but it's just Dustin's going to go out with 2 majors, and it's just going to feel like a disappointment. And he's lost
to
some-
everybody but Dustin. Like if
I don't.
as
Yeah,
long as
that's a
he's
really
on
good
his
point. I don't
boat,
think
he's cool.
I don't think that he feels like his career's been a disappointment. He's made probably $200 million playing golf, and I think that's
pre-live.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still third, I think, all time on the PGA Tour money list. Like, you're right. Sometimes we care more than the protagonists do. Like,
Well, it's like and someone was making this point to me. Actually, a guy who went to Live. I told him I wouldn't say who it is, but he said basically, there's no in every other walk of life, there's no pressure for a person to make the absolute most out of their career. If one of your buddies gets an offer to take a lot of money and work a little bit less hard, and he takes it, and maybe he's not going to make it as high as he would in another line of work, he'd be like, yeah, nice work, man. You get to enjoy
Yeah.
your life. With athletes, we just have this expectation that everyone should be Tiger Woods, that everyone should milk every single ounce out of their natural ability that they have.
yeah, we're idealists. If you saw the movie Fever Pitch, which is based on a great book by Nick Hornby, and it's an obsessive sports fan, his favorite team loses, and he's devastated, and you see some of the players at this diner, and they're laughing, having a great time. He's like, I care more than they do. And
What the
there's an element of that, but we're invested as viewers. We go on into the journey with these guys, and you saw with Rory that outpouring of emotions because it's been a long time that we've been invested in this human and the ups and the downs, and that's what makes sports great. So if we don't care, if they don't care, then what's the point of it all? Someone's got to care.
Someone has to
Probably
care.
a big part of why a lot of casual fans were upset about Live in general, right? Is because they see it as cashing out and giving up, and that's like a dozen guys that they're watching do that. It's not just like we're talking about one of the guys that left.
Yeah.
Like it's the case for
Yeah.
all of them.
And it's true. I mean, to extend your point, Dan, if the New York Times said, "Hey, we'll triple your salary, and you only have to write 10 stories a year," like, of course, I would take it. You would take it. Ben would take
wouldn't
it.
You
take
come
it.
to me and you're like,
I
I
wouldn't
gotta
take
go.
it.
Like,
Writing is the bane of my existence.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but we're.
I wouldn't take
but,
it. I mean,
but,
just don't want me in there. I wouldn't take it.
but people aren't as invested in us as we are in the athletes because they're on TV. We read about them. We think about them. We watch them. It's just. It's a very public life for them, and maybe we ask too much. So that you need an anthropologist, not a sports writer, to answer that.
Yeah, so Xander Schauffele got in at +1. We're gonna show some of his comments. He was him and Scotty were both really heated. We'll get there in a second. Justin Thomas, 2 over, not his best. Kind of battled a little bit on the back 9, but I think people were expecting sort of a lot more. I want to get to Bryson. So Bryson shot even par, which is a very, very reasonable round. He did one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a golf course. Let's roll this clip of Bryson on the 12th hole today. What is he doing? He's full Indiana Jones. Can we show it again? Can we? Okay, let's.
we got a slow-mo.
We got a slow-mo.
Oh, Carl,
He's already
you rock,
moving
dude.
slowly.
The streets were calling this Timu Tiger Woods. Wait, no, go back. We need to see the initial reaction. Here it is. It's the crouch, and then it's the this way. It's going this way.
He looks like in a video game when you hit the like creep slow button to not make noise. You
I
know?
was kidding. That's like me after sleeping on a hard mattress in a hotel. Like, oh, my back, oh, my shoulder.
They got to show every single shot he hits. He's the most, and he's not. I think it's the Bryson Rory stuff. It kind of splits on personality lines. Like I get it. He's such an asset. No one else did that today, and with everything that he's done in his career, he's a content machine.
Well, he's performative, and
Yes,
there's an element of too much showmanship, but that's what makes it fun because
better than the alternative.
Agreed.
Right.
You don't want a robot like Cantlay. I mean, Bryson is entertaining, and he's awkward, and he's a little weird, and that's why it's fun. Like that was just a weird thing. We
Just
just
a weird
watched.
thing.
It's just
It's a weird
bizarre.
thing.
It's like yesterday, he's walking up the stairs. Nice to meet me. Hey guys, you
love that. You love
it.
that.
Just like was such a microcosm of
He's
who
just
he is.
He's socially awkward. He always has been, and I did a big story on him and interviewed his dad. Is now departed, and he said Bryson could not play team sports. Like it was impossible because he was always frustrated with his teammates. He couldn't get along with them. He's just never quite fit in. That was his whole thing on the PGA Tour. 6 years in a row, he tried to get elected to the pack. 6 years in a row, he did not get voted in by his peers. And he said, Bryson said to me, I guess they didn't want me. They didn't like my ideas. It was like hangdog, puppy style. It was poignant, but and so now he's been embraced by the golf world and the YouTube world and the fans, but he's still that same
Still
weird
Bryson.
dude.
He's still Bryson. I mean,
I think back in the tour days, it was like he wasn't the cool guy around.
Never.
And YouTube made him. He found people that found him very cool,
Yeah.
like capital C cool, and he's like,
Yeah.
this is what it feels like to be like
Yeah.
in the T-Birds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did they find him cool, or they were just riveted by what he could do to a golf ball? Somewhere in between.
I think they think he's cool
yeah.
because I think that's what's cool to that generation.
But it's just like, and I got into this in my biography of Phil Mickelson. There was always a thing.
what a flex that you can just say that. Your biography of Phil
No, but I'm
Mickelson.
saying.
No, I'm just saying that's the fact that you've written one book is going
yeah,
around.
talk about Fonzie moments, man.
You've written many books.
So this question, all the autographs that Phil signed, was it from the heart? Or was it performative? Was it brand building?
Does it matter?
Did he care? Exactly. To the fan, they didn't care. And all the other players talked about it and obsessed over it. Phil's just out there signing. And so Bryson's kind of the same way. Is it sometimes clunky and sometimes whatever? The people he's interacting with in the gallery, the reporters he daps up, it's their first tournament cover, and they're like from the local Charlotte, whatever. Like,
they love it.
Kind of
They
thank
love
God
it.
he does that,
it has meaning to them. And
Yeah,
so,
he shows them a little love, and it's like, oh my gosh, Bryson DeChambeau's showed me some love.
because so many golfers have that 1,000-yard stare, including Tiger, including Nick Faldo. A lot of the greats, they don't even acknowledge, like, I'm
You
giving
don't
you
break the fourth wall.
well said. I'm giving you my best. I'm giving you my performance. That's all I can give you.
My
Don't
golf
ask
is
for
the
more.
entertainment.
That's it. Bryson knows there's more to it, so good on him.
I think what you hear a lot about Xander is like behind the scenes, much more jovial, funny guy. Like
Yeah.
if a guy like that would bring it onto the course and into the fans, right?
Yeah. You don't get much out of Xander on the golf course, and that's a shame because I've seen him in casual settings. He is got quite a sharp needle, and it comes out like the Ryder Cup press conferences. Like he's a great
Yeah, they're like,
trash
he's the
talker.
funniest guy in the team room.
Yeah. But it's a loss to the golf fans. They still like him because he's just kind of got that California cool, but they don't know him the way they know Bryson.
We're gonna look a little bit at the top of the leaderboard. So I'm gonna go through some of the guys here. Again, to say that this is an unexpected leaderboard is like saying Quail Hollow is Pebble Beach. It's just not.
It's just not.
I don't know if I don't think that made any sense. But you know what I was saying.
We're still with you.
It's a very unexpected leaderboard. So up top we've got Ryan Gerard. He's playing in his first PGA Championship. Next you've got Cam Davis, who was tied for 54th and tied for 60th in his last 2 starts. Luke Donald is ranked 871st in the world. Ryan Fox just won the very prestigious One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic to get into the tournament 4 days ago.
Hot right now.
He's hot. Alex Smalley was not even in the field. He got in when Sahed withdrew. Stefan Jaeger, 0 major top 20s. Adam Scott is 139th in scoring average this season. Alex Noren has made 1 start in 2025. We talked to him last week. He's just come back from a hamstring injury. JT Poston has 0 major top 25s in his career. So it is genuinely one of the most surprising leaderboards that I've seen. And Rafa Campos has been like one of the worst players on the PGA Tour this year. He's 4 under through 16.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a little game here, okay? Of the top 8 guys, so here are your choices. Ryan Gerard, Cam Davis, Jonathan Vegas, Luke Donald, Ryan Fox, Alex Smalley, Stefan Jaeger, and Aaron Rai.
Wow.
We're each going to draft a player, and they're going to be our guy for the rest of the week.
Okay.
And it's my show, so I'm going to go first.
You
Knock
cut
him
off.
out
You said
flex.
top 10 earlier. You're cutting some guys off.
Well, I'm
that
cutting some
I
guys
had on
off.
my
Yeah,
eyes.
well, it's strategic. I'm cutting some guys off. I am going to go with Ryan Gerard. I'm sticking with him this week.
Front runner.
Okay.
The front runner.
Yeah.
He shot 5 under 66.
He looks solid.
He looks solid. He hits it really, really nice. You know, I'm not going to hold his lack of major success against him. He hasn't played him very many. But you said, you know, if we're going by a sort of random PGA Tour leaderboard, Ryan Gerard's going to be my guy that I'm going to ride with for the rest of the week. I'm going to go with Ben next. We're going to go through Alan, unfortunately.
Okay. This is a tough choice. I want to pick Luke Donald just because, like,
Luke Donald's going to shoot 78
what a
tomorrow.
cool thing that would be.
Amazing,
but,
yeah.
I'm going to go with Stefan Jaeger because I like his cricket golf shirts.
It's another fake European. So it's just it's another. He's gonna, you know,
I
he
like
might.
the way he dresses.
He very well might make it on the team, and he's from the Sepp Straka universe. Of you would have no idea this guy was European unless
What
you
did
saw him
Sepp
fly.
Straka do today? Do we even?
I think he shot a couple over.
Yeah,
He had
uninspired.
2 over, and he played Marion last Monday, Pine Valley this Monday. So he's on a hell of a golf.
You gotta love it.
list. I like when guys do that. I love when guys like it's that's what I would, you know.
I was disappointed that when you had an assistant pro from Marion on the couch, you didn't lock in a tee time for us.
Oh, that's a really good point. We got our number.
Yeah, we do.
All right, you got to
She's-
draft your
she's
guy.
not-
You got to draft your horse.
I mean, I think Cam Davis is actually kind of a stud. Like he has game.
Big guy.
But I'm gonna pick Johnny Vegas because I love Jonathan Vegas. And
Have you done a story on him?
I went to Venezuela. It's actually incredible. So his father was protesting against Hugo Chavez, who was, you know, the dictator down there forever, and was basically put on like this enemies list, was not allowed to work, was blackballed from Venezuelan society basically. And because they were afraid that Jonathan would never have any opportunities in life, let alone golf, they sent him to Houston when he was a boy to live with his Venezuelan family, expats. They introduced him to golf. They were part of this whole journey. After Jonathan won, you know, his rookie year, Chavez tweeted, "Oh, he's the prize of Venezuela. Like, we love this guy. He's our son."
No, he literally ran away from your tyrannical government.
Exactly. And so Johnny Vegas had not been home in years and years because it wasn't considered safe. So when he went back, I went with him, and we were in Caracas in this armored Humvee with like actual like Navy SEAL types as our private security. We went all over and then went back to his hometown, and it was an incredible experience. And in Venezuela, things were already falling apart. They got a lot worse. But to see the love that the people had for him in a country where they really don't know golf, but they recognize this as something special. And he's such a sweet guy. He's so humble, and it would be a huge deal if he won this. And so I'm going Johnny Vegas all the way.
What did he say about his relationship with Venezuela, like going back there in that way that had like?
It's complex.
Right?
I mean, he missed his extended family.
It's always home.
It's always home.
And like with these countries that have these like horrible governments, like doesn't mean the people are, you know what I mean?
Exactly. But the fact that the government so directly impacted his upbringing, his father, all of it, it made it extra complex. But it was,
And that he like tweeted that, right? And then he was like come home.
just
And
totally
he's like, now I
co-opted
don't
him.
want to, you know, because
exactly.
you asked it.
Yeah. It's the only time I've ever been on a story where I thought we might get shot.
Yeah.
We did this photo shoot by they were producing so much gas and oil, they were burning it off. It was these like 100-foot plumes of fire. We're like, well, this is cool. So we put Johnny right by the fence, and we were taking these pictures, and all these like dudes came up with machine guns, shouting at us in Spanish, pointing like the guns at us, like figures were like twitching. I was like, wow, this is a bad way to go. Eventually, things cooled down, but that was a little hairy.
Wow, what a
Is that a
story.
bad way to go?
I think that's like right in the field. That's doing what you love.
Yeah, if I die in the field, I'm happy.
So we
Just
talked.
don't make it tonight outside the field.
We talked about Luke Donald. Both Ryder Cup captains really showed out today. So we had Luke Donald shoot 4 under. He had an interesting quote saying, "I'm clearly rounding into form by missing all of these cuts." We talked about Quail Hollow being a bomber's paradise. Luke Donald at 46, I think he is the opposite of a bomber. It was sort of a fluky round. I think you said he gained 5 putting. He got up and down 9 out of 9 times, that's not going to happen again. And but I saw an interesting stat. It's the first time that both Ryder Cup captains are in the top 10 after the first round since 1937.
Whoa.
And that sort of speaks to like a new direction for captains, but
Yeah. It was. I mean, I love Luke Donald. We talked about how beautiful his swing is.
It's flippy.
And he's it's flippy at the bottom. And he's such a classy guy. I mean, good on him.
Northwestern
Yeah.
Wildcat.
Yeah. He's probably flown too high on borrowed wings. I mean, let's be honest. But Keegan's a threat. I mean,
Yeah.
he has a much more game tee to green than Luke Donald does, and he's been winning, much more recently. So
If
I
he
don't think
wins
he's
a
going
major,
anywhere.
does he have to pick himself then?
I don't think he's going to pick himself, but if he finishes in the top 6, I asked him today, I said, I kind of asked him point blank, do you want to be a playing captain? He's like, I just really want to help the team win. And then he said, all of his different assistant captains, which was sort of to me as saying like they can step in if need be.
Yeah.
It would be a nice problem to have. He only has 3 top 10s in his career outside of the major that he won, which is odd to me because he hits
Yeah.
it so high,
Yeah.
and he drives it really straight and really well, which you would think would be a really good formula for the majors. So he had an interesting pairing. He was playing with Andrew Novak and Maverick McNeely, which is quite clearly, I don't know if it's cheeky or whatever word you want to use, but those guys I think are 7th and 8th in the points, and so it was sort of like put the captain with the guys who have a chance.
I love that.
I love it too, but I asked him about Keegan. He didn't love it as much. Let's roll that clip. Did you request to get a look at those guys in the pairing, and then how much can you? I mean, you have so much data and like so much to look at. How much can you actually learn from actually getting eyes on a guy?
I definitely did not request that pairing. I actually kind of felt bad for the boys when I saw it because I remember my first time playing with the captain. I played with Tom Watson at the Greenbrier, and I was nervous to do that. So I was proud of the way they played today. They're such good guys and incredible players, and there's nothing in these 2 days that's going to determine yes or no if they're on this team. I'm just proud of the way they played today. I'm sure that was definitely a distraction for them. It didn't show. They played amazing.
So he basically said, I don't know, you didn't hear the clip, but he said that he felt bad for those guys. He didn't ask for the pairing, but he felt bad that there was a little bit. But they both shot under par. So I asked Andrew Novak coming off. I was like, captain can play. He's like, yeah, but we all knew that. I said, when you saw those pairings, were you like? And he goes, yeah, it was a job interview. He felt like it was a job interview.
That's a great quote. I think there's a little stagecraft there from Keegan. I mean, he's in so deep with the PGA of America. I can't imagine they were going to do anything he didn't want them to do.
Well, I think I don't know if he said pair me with Andrew Novak and Maverick McNeely, but there might have been an implicit like.
Yeah. Well, and Europe's been doing this forever. Like even just run-of-the-mill European Tour events, they pair Ryder Cuppers together for comfort to assess each other's games. They put the captains and the vice captains with prospects. Like they've maximized that as a system, so it makes perfect sense.
I love it. I think that's awesome.
He said today that he does not think he can do both. He cannot be a captain and a player. How funny would it be if the PGA of America goes out on a limb to pick this guy, and then he plays his way on the team, and then they get Jim Furyk? Because that's who it would be.
I mean, you have to remember it's a TV show, and it would be riveting to have a playing captain. There will be pressure on him to stay in that role if he qualifies because it'll be so compelling.
That'll be the
It just
pressure,
adds
yeah.
such an element to it and intrigue. If I'm Keegan, I'm not giving it up. At Bethpage, a St. John's guy.
I go the other way. I think he should come out and say, I'm not playing. Because they picked him to be the captain, right? Like they tapped him on the shoulder to be a captain. It was such a departure from what they normally do. He's already a very anxious guy by nature. I feel like it would just take a huge weight off his shoulder to be like, I'm not playing. And then it would be ultimate badass if our captain wins a major and says, you know what, being the captain is so important and I have so much faith in my guys that there's 12 other guys that I'm going to put out there even though I'm a reigning major champion.
The problem with that is that the U.S. has been getting their butt kicked for 30 years in the Ryder Cup. And Keegan has a lot of game, and he's got that gritty, gutty
Fire.
scrappiness that is woefully lacking on the U.S. squad. And you know, I thought Horschel was going to play his way onto the team, and he would add an element. Now with his surgery,
He's out.
He's out. So, like, you need those personalities. We have too many nice, kind of soft, low key.
You want some edge.
You need it. I don't want it. You need it.
Yeah.
And if Keegan, I mean, if he wins and he's playing at this level, he's got to play on the team. And if that means renouncing the captaincy, so what? But I'd rather have him play than captain. But I think you might as well do both.
Do you think it ruins the move that they made,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the new generation of how they pick coaches?
Yeah,
if he
100
plays and then plays bad, like even worse, you know.
No, I just think if he plays his way on, it's like we went with all this hoopla, and he said himself that he's not going to do both. It's too much.
Is there a scenario that you would flip sides, like if he won 2 in a row leading?
Yes, if
into
he won
it,
every
like,
tournament from here until now, I would say
that's
he should
all.
probably
It
play.
would have to be every tournament.
If he won this week, and then he either finished in the top 5 at Oakmont or the Open, or he won another tour event, I would maybe reconsider it. But again, I just think he should. I think he should.
I just
bow
feel
out.
like the captaincy. There's this huge infrastructure around the captain. They've got all the information in the weeks leading up to it. I feel like the pairings are mostly baked. It's not like he's going to be on the 13th hole trying to figure out who should play in the afternoon. Like, he already knows when he wakes up that morning. And occasionally you'll go with your gut, or someone will be on a huge heater. But that's why you have 17 assistant captains.
And they have all these models now too. Yeah, it's like they wake up and their alarm says like "Good morning," you know.
you could let a data
playing.
guy do the picks realistically.
You could.
You
And
know?
I don't know. Never underestimate the need for this to be a compelling TV show, because the Ryder Cups have been boring lately. I mean, they've been lopsided. There hasn't been a great Ryder
Except for
Cup.
Cantlay with the hat.
Yeah, but I mean,
That was fantastic TV.
It was good TV, but the U.S. was getting killed most of the way there. It's like we need a good Ryder Cup just to keep people interested, because it's been like a decade of lopsided. The home team wins, so the playing captain, that takes it to a totally different level.
All right, let's move into sort of the story of the day, which is the mudballs. Let's show. So you know, Scotty was really frustrated. Let's show the shots that he and Xander hit from the middle of the fairway on 16. Two identical shots. Two shots that those guys don't have in their bag. That's not like I made a bad swing. They both had mud on the ball. Let's show what Scotty had to say. He talked about this a lot. Let's show what Scotty said in his press conference.
It's one of those deals where it's frustrating to hit the ball in the middle of the fairway and get mud on it and just have no idea where it's going to go. And, you know, I understand it's part of the game, but there's nothing more frustrating for a player. I mean, you spend your whole life trying to learn how to control a golf ball, and due to a rules decision, all of a sudden you now have absolutely no control over where that golf ball goes. But, you know, I don't make the rules. I just got to deal with the consequences of those rules. And, you know, I did a good job of battling back today and not letting a bad break like that, which cost me a couple shots, kind of get to me. And did a good job battling after that and posting a decent score.
You know, he said he did a good job of not letting it bother him, but it cost him 2 shots. And, you know, I'm usually on the hardo side, where I'm like, play it down, play it down. I think they probably should have played it up today. Just because the guys made a good point, and I'm not so stubborn to think that I know, you know, they said these fairways are so perfect that it's not like you're getting an advantage by placing it. The only thing that you're doing, the only effect that playing it up today would be to get mud off the ball. And I empathize. I think, you know, again, Scotty said if this was the Open Championship, you never play it up because, you know, the grass. But like when you're on, I mean, the Zoysia fairways are basically carpet. I think they should have played it up today.
I'm coming around to that point of view. I mean, Ben and I talked about this off camera. Like,
It's sort of damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Agreed, and it hurts. The USGA would never do it, and so if no matter what, they just wouldn't do it. And so the PGA of America does it, then it was like, the PGA, it's not a real major. Like, I think that played into it. They almost
A little bit of like a Napoleon complex.
Yes, it's like they made the wrong decision for the right reason. They were trying to be tough guys, but it's. I agree that, you know, what Scotty said. Like, he's dedicated his life to controlling the golf ball, and to have such an outside force like that is avoidable. And then, as we were talking about earlier, like, we'll see if the fairways keep drying out. You know, the guys who played this afternoon, they go out in the morning. That late early wave could not have mud balls, and then it puts those guys at a huge disadvantage.
Xander is on the other side. He thinks it's going to get worse. So I'm going to read this quote. He said, "The mud balls are going to get worse. That wasn't your question, but they're going to get worse as the play dries up. They're going to get in that perfect zone where it's kind of muddy underneath and then picking up mud on the way through. I mean, you just keep, I don't know, maybe it has a little bit, I hit it a little bit lower off the tee, but then unfortunately the problem with hitting it low off the tee is the ball doesn't carry or roll anywhere. So then you sacrifice distance. It's a bit of a crapshoot. A lot of the same. If I can keep hitting the driver in the fairway, I'll be fine." But he seems to think it actually might get worse.
Well, Xander probably knows better than I do, but I will say, if I'm standing on that hole and there's water all around the green and I've got a huge glop of mud on my ball, I might hit a more conservative shot just to the front right. Like those guys were going for it with long irons. Like they invited a little trouble.
I don't know. I think they started right side of the green. I think the ball was just in the air for a really long time.
Forever.
You know what I mean? And I get it. Like I think it had an impact today. Like I think Scotty, if they played the ball up, Scotty shoots 4 under today, and he's right in the mix. And I'm not saying that Cam Davis or Ryan Gerard didn't have mud balls also, but it just felt like they won me over with their explanation that it impacted the competition disproportionately today.
I think that the context of the Zoysia fairways is the thing that got me moving a little bit more in your direction, but I didn't necessarily buy the I've worked my whole life to control this golf ball and nature got in the way.
Well, what he's saying is he hit it right down the middle of the fairway. It's not like he hit it in the rough and it was a weird lie. He hit it right down the middle of the fairway
on a wet part of the week. Like it was. I'm sorry, it rained this week. The course got muddy, and they, to your point, they didn't want to make it any easier, which it would if you were able to do that. So I think it's like saying in a NFL game I work my whole life to be able to catch a ball, jump really high and be a wide receiver and catch a ball, but
it was raining.
It was raining. You're playing in the rain.
There's
and you said it.
circumstances.
They got mud balls too. Those guys that are leading. So you're all playing the same course. I can't get past that. I can never get past.
It's legit. It's an outdoor game, and we talk about this a lot at the Open Championship. I mean, sometimes the wind hurts you disproportionately, and that's part of it. So, but I guess if the RNA cannot stop the wind, but the PGA of America could stop the mud ball. So that's really the difference. It's within the governing bodies, the tournament organizers' power to remove this as an impediment.
Yeah, it's sort of like golf Twitter didn't want them to play it up, and the players wanted them to play it up.
Yeah.
There's a divide there.
Yeah.
Not for the first time.
But hey, it's good. We needed something to talk about on kind of a sleepy day.
Yeah, a little bit of a sleepy day. For sure. We're gonna wrap up with some bits and bobs here. Kind of talk about some stuff that happened today. There was a little bit of talk about the setup beyond the mud balls. Quail Hollow has some water hazards that maybe aren't being totally utilized. I'm thinking about the left side of 14, the drivable par 4. Balls were staying up there all day, and I think we have a picture here of a no laying up tweet, and these guys are always all over the course setup stuff. But it was basically Rory pulled a drive pretty poorly. It hung up on a hillside on the left side of the fairway, and he was kind of rewarded, quote unquote rewarded. There it is. Rory badly pulls a drive, gets saved by the rough, and is rewarded with a 7-iron into a par 5. What are we doing, LOL? I kind of agree, right? I think they should probably, they're not going to now. And I think, Kerry Haig, who sets up the golf course for the PGA of America, is the most popular guy among tour pros. Because the PGA of America, the winning score last year was 20 under par. They don't, I think there was, and you could speak better to this, when Mike Davis was running the USGA, there was sort of this, you're trying to embarrass us. Kerry Haig, I think, is on the absolute other side. But I do agree that, when there's a slope like that, and I think there was, Colin Morikawa hit a shot on 17 that went long of the green and was rolling toward the water, stayed up in the water, and then he hooped it for birdie. I feel like they should probably mow those.
100%. Alarms always go off my head when the players describe a course as fair.
Yeah. That just means easy.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a good setup for the Greater Charlotte Open, but for a tournament where you're trying to have a penalty. You're trying to have exacting conditions. You're trying to identify the absolute best golfers. There needs to be a little less mercy. And it's disappointing. Those examples are prime. There's some others, too. They don't have to shave it down like the bank in front of Augusta National's 15th green, but, just have it fairway height. And
give the ball a chance to catch a heater.
But that thick rough, it's like, well, I'm going to say something inappropriate, but it's just... It doesn't make any sense to have 3 feet of rough.
Well, it would also be a cool thing to differentiate from when they play it normally.
Of course.
When they play Quail Hollow every year. I think a lot of guys were saying, Rory said this in his press conference, he was interested to see the golf course and see if it was going to play different than it does in the Wells Fargo, and it really hasn't. No. And I think it would be a really nice. Again, it's a lost cause now. They're not going to go mow the side of the rough now, but it would have been a nice differentiator where it's like, okay, like missing left on 7 is actually like you can't do it this week, or hit it long on 17, you can't do it this week, or hit it left on 14 and you really can't do it this week. And they really did opt for a little bit of longer rough in a PGA Tour setup.
It's just the hallmark of major championship golf. It has to be stressful. It has to be a high wire act. You're tiptoeing through a minefield, and this course is just not that.
Yeah, it's not that.
What's the status quo on making a change like that mid-tournament?
It's
like,
not.
Has it ever happened?
That's drastic.
Yeah.
They couldn't eliminate the rough. They could cut it and make it maybe so you get one bounce out of it instead of it stopping dead. I mean, they're still rough, but instead of 4 inches, it's down to 1.5. I mean, they could, but it'd have to be after the cut.
I think the players would freak
after
out.
the cut. Yeah.
The players would absolutely freak out if they did something like that.
But that was like.
Because then it impacts your start line and where you're aiming and all that.
I know, but
stuff.
that's kind of the fun, because if you remember when the U.S. Open was at the Olympic Club, and on Sunday on that long par 5, 16, they used a tee that they hadn't put the tees there at all during the practice rounds, and all of a sudden it was way up, and a lot of guys made bad pars or even bogeys because they didn't know how to play the hole. And Mike Davis, you mentioned him, he's like, well, thinking under pressure is part of the game.
That's cool.
It was cool. It was like a total curveball, and who could handle it? Who could figure it out in the moment? So, I mean, it's not unprecedented to have a little booby trap.
Kerry Haig, if you're watching, shave the sides. Just shave the sides.
Just Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Get through the cut. Get
the club pros out of there.
Yeah.
And let's turn it into a major championship venue on the weekend.
Why not?
We had Siu Kim. Siu is one of my absolute favorite people on the PGA Tour. He's a delight. I don't know if you've spent any time with him. He cracks me up. He drinks like 6 Red Bulls a day and then takes an Advil PM when he gets a little too jittery. Apparently today, I don't know if the Advil PM or I don't know if just the Red Bulls were hitting really hard, but he looked to take a couple rips of a cigarette, which I didn't know that Siu Kim was a cigarette smoker. Do we have that picture, Andy? I think we do. Yeah, there he is, taking a little rip of a cig and then putting it out right away. I don't know if his caddy had one and he really thought this would be really nice right now, but Siu was a wild boy.
I've been known in my day to, try to inspire a bowel movement that way with a couple quick hits.
Oh, you think he just had to go?
Maybe he had to go. Maybe he had to eat those cheesesteaks in the media center and he ate too much whiz.
He's a wild card, and again, you want to talk about personalities, he's a huge one.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny in golf you can sort of self-medicate during the round.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess guys on the bench in the NBA game could put a little extra, powder in their drink or something, but it's funny.
NHL guys get the sniffing salts.
Yeah, it's... Sure, I guess it's legal. Why not?
Yeah, definitely not a good habit.
You gotta learn to cup it like that. The Nick Price cup.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, he was really good at hiding the cigarette because he would hit it on the back 9 for sure. Like you could tell when he's nervous because the cigarette came out.
Well, whenever I think about cigarettes in golf, I think of Angel Cabrera.
Yeah.
2007 Oakmont chain smoking, and I believe Johnny Miller got in trouble because he was saying on the broadcast, he's like, those cigarettes are really calming his nerves, and it's like, well, there's children watching, and so let's not.
That's why I can't be on the broadcast. I'd be like, man, how cool does he look right now, man? Like, get this guy a pair of Ray-Bans.
Golf Twitter does have an absolute obsession with golfers who smoke. I mean, Charlie Hull.
Darts.
Yeah, lung darts. Yeah.
That's all you have to use darts.
I'm not going to say smoking is cool on our show, right? But, there's a reason why.
There was the guy who was in the mix at the British Open last year, Daniel Brown, I think it was. He was kind of like a journeyman European Tour pro, and he was smoking cigarettes, and people just loved it.
I mean... But it begs the question: are they going to start testing what's in the cigarette? You guys sprinkling in a few other things to calm the nerves.
Yeah.
I mean,
I texted Siwu, he hasn't responded yet. I said, "Since when do you smoke, dude?"
Yeah.
So we'll see if we get a reply there. Another thing today, there was a T-Mobile activation, little advertisement on the 15th tee. Was it the 14th tee? I think it was the 14th tee. So Sean Zock tweeted, "Less commercials," they said, not knowing what the future hold in store. I couldn't disagree more. Give me that over playing through any day of the week. Does it look a little bit goofy? Yeah, but advertising is not going anywhere. That pays the bills. It's a baked-in part of professional sports. And everyone on golf Twitter and all of us have been saying, less commercials. Golf is unique. It's played on the field this week is, Quail Hall is massive. It's 200 acres. There's a lot of space to do stuff like that, and it made me smile when I saw that because they're actually doing something.
Well, I was confused because I walked by the TV. It didn't have any sound on. I was like, "Are those force plates? Are they measuring? Swing? Is that swing analysis?" So now I'm disillusioned. I didn't even realize it was a T-Mobile.
It's a T-Mobile.
got you.
Yeah, they got
got
you.
me.
You were influenced.
I was like, "Oh, T-Mobile, that's so cool! Like they're breaking down the swing."
No.
I agree that it's
I'm
a good
just a sucker.
alternative to playing through. I think it's just a little bit intense. Like,
Yeah.
why not just have like a cell tower pop up out of the ground and say T-Mobile and then go away?
Yeah, the European Tour has like in soccer games where they put like an advertisement where it's like on the board.
Yeah.
You could do something like that off to the side, but I don't know. It really didn't bother me. What did bother me was Eric Cole making a hole-in-one. How fucking dare he? So we have this clip. Let's show Eric Cole making a hole-in-one here.
Both angles.
At least it was pure. It didn't bounce off a hillside. That was tracking the whole way.
It was a pure shot. It drew right in there. It also screwed our bet. We had Rick Gaiman.
We got 9 left.
We got 9 left. I saw he had Mackenzie Houston miss the cut. He was a lot over par, so that one's looking good. Yeah, here. Oh, we have our bets. We had a no hole in one at -200. So we laid. That was a big loss. That was
one of the ones that
was one of the minus ones. So congratulations to Eric Cole, but also not congratulations to Eric Cole because that screwed our bet.
Patrick Cantlay to win's not looking
Patrick Cantlay to win's not looking very good. I'm going to look through a little bit of the leaderboard here.
Wait, you took Patrick Cantlay to win?
No, Rick did.
No wonder you're so bitter.
Well, dude,
You're letting your gambling habit affect your
It's
journalism.
We're not allowed to
It's
gamble.
not my gambling habit. It's Rick making picks on this show.
Okay,
so
fine.
I want to make that very, very clear. But also, it's unserious. It's unserious play. Shooting 4 over par today in a major championship is unserious. Some other guys who got it around nicely. Victor Hovland shot 2 under. Very, very hard to predict what he's going to do on a week-to-week basis. Adam Scott was up there at 4 under for a little while. He shot -2. Ben On, the weapon, shot 2 under. Garrick Higo, who won recently and got a Melbourne sponsorship out of it, which I think maybe we deserve, like I said on the show, maybe like 2% of that because he was on our show.
Did we do it, Steve?
Sponsors, and then now he has sponsors. John Rahm shot 1 under. Kind of sneaky.
Yeah, that was, and he missed. I saw him miss 3, 8-footers. Like he didn't look that comfortable on the greens. So if he can warm up the putter, he's another guy talking about the narrative. Like he knows that since he went to live, he hasn't really
But
played
I don't
well
buy
in
it
the-
with him for some reason.
I don't know why, because he just burns so hot. He clearly cares so much, but he's dying to get back in the mix. But maybe too much. Like early in his career, he would get in his own way a lot. Obviously, he figured it out and won a couple big ones. But it's gonna be fun to see where he goes from here.
Tommy Fleetwood shot 1 under par early in the day. Andrew Novak shot 1 under. So did Maverick McNeely, playing with the captain Akshay Bhatia, who is a North Carolina native, shot 1 under par. Colin Morikawa, like I said, 1 under. Ludwig Oberg shot 1 under. So, it's anything but out of touch. Jonathan Vegas has got to 6 under, by the way. So your pick is really good.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Some other guys who struggled. We talked about Dustin Johnson. Gary Woodland shot 3 over par. Brooks Koepka 4 over. Laurie Cantor 4 over. Nicholas Norgard, who we have to make the cut, shot 4 over. Sergio Garcia, here's a guy I wanted to ask you about. Felt like there was a lot of momentum for him to sort of push to one final Ryder Cup. He was playing really, really well. I think he won earlier on the year in Live.
Yeah, we liked him going into the Masters.
We liked him going into the Masters. Obviously, he's won there before, but his major play in recent years has been atrocious.
Yeah, and he's definitely trying. He knows that all eyes are on him during the majors this year for the Ryder Cup, because people forget him and Luke were a great team.
Yeah, they were.
They were killers together, and so that Luke Donald is predisposed to picking Sergio. This was actually funny. I was walking with Laurie Cantor after his round to the driving range. We were just catching up, and Sergio was walking towards us, going to the first tee, and Sergio started pantomiming ground strokes like tennis. I was like, "Why is he doing that?" And Laurie's like, "Well, I played a lot of tennis growing up. I thought I was really good, so I challenged Sergio to a match, and he crushed me. The guy's incredible.
He's talking shit.
He said he won't let up, and I said, you should try pickleball next. And Sergio was like, pickleball? That's not a real sport. Like, he got mad at me. I was just kidding.
Speaking of Sergio, it's quite an outfit today.
Oh, I saw a lot of good ones.
It was atrocious.
Quite an outfit today. Here it is. Ben, you're our sartorial guy. First of all, that glove, the sort of split color glove, it looks like you should not be able to wear that within 200 yards of a school.
Yeah.
Black and
think
red shoes too.
you said he looked like Pete Weber, which I thought
he
was
looked
one
like
of
the
my
bowler.
favorite ones.
That's solid.
I saw someone say, yeah, he looked like he was part of a NASCAR pit crew. I think this is a better outfit than the fucking ketchup and mustard he wore at the Masters. Like, that was really bad and
But
offensive.
at least those are the colors of Spain. Like, it made some thematic sense.
These are the Fireball colors, bro.
I know. But
Come on.
I said thematic sense. Well, that's like when he wore all yellow.
World Series of Poker contender. That's good.
Yeah. It's,
When Sergio wore all yellow in that final round of the British Open, he was playing with Tiger, and everyone gave him a lot of grief. But it was for the yellow. The Tour de France was ending that day. It was for the. He was
like
going
that.
for the yellow.
And I
jersey.
remember that,
But
and I
people
liked
didn't
that,
get
yeah.
that, and it's just like a ridiculous outfit. He looked like
You
a
can't
canary.
Ronald McDonald, though. It's like, it's 101, man. And this was bad.
it looks like the career slam is going to have to wait another year for Jordan Spieth. Yeah, he shot 5 over par today, and this is one where Rick was spot on. He said, you know, it might happen in the future. This is about as bad as you could draw it up for him as far as course goes.
He just looked defeated out there. I watched him play a few holes. Spieth used to play with joy, and he used to play with fire and emotion, and he was always in Greller's ear. And he was a great show. And now it's just kind of, it's like
almost a treat when we get an exchange between them now, because I
know,
don't
he's
get it
kind
on
of
TV a lot.
sullen and just defeated. It's hard to see him that way because he just exuded energy out there, and he looks a little beat down by the game.
Yeah, I think so too. This game can do that too. So if I ask you guys to reselect, I'm not going to reselect. I'm sticking with Scotty. Shot 2 under, asterisk really 4 under. If the PGA of America had a spine, and they played it up today. But if I allowed you guys to repick a winner, who would you take?
I mean, there was some talk about how Scotty's the actual first round leader because so many people above him are unproven or untested. There's some merit to that. When Scotty's like a little pissy, he's a little fiery, he's dangerous. And I think we saw that today after his round. I mean, he's the most easygoing guy in press conferences, and there was some spice there. So.
Well, they kept asking him about it, and he goes, "This is my last time giving an answer about playing the ball up or down," and then he went into like a 4-paragraph answer. So
Yeah.
he
He
went out
said
with
it
a
didn't
bang.
bother him out there. He just was letting it out, maybe.
So Scotty, that would be your pick.
It would be my pick, but I like Johnny Vegas. I really do. I mean, the guy smashes it. He can fly it as far
Hits
as
it
anyone.
long, hits it high. Yeah, good stuff.
And he's very much a momentum player. When he plays well, he tends to stay hot. So
Just really solid round. Great front 9.
300, 400, 500.
I
He birdied
mean-
last. He shot 7 under.
Wow.
He's deep.
Live on Dog, Johnny Vegas just keeps going. Your pick is looking fantastic.
We're going to Vegas, baby.
If he wins, we're going to Vegas.
We're going to Venezuela.
No, we're going to Vegas first and then Venezuela.
Venezuela is reputed to have some of the world's most beautiful women, and based on my field research, I think it's accurate.
So if Johnny Vegas wins, we're going to Vegas and then Venezuela.
The double V trip.
Actually, maybe we go to Venezuela first. I don't want anything to like follow me from Vegas into Venezuela.
I forgot.
You
this-
think you're more likely to survive Venezuela than Vegas?
Yes, I do.
When
Have you been out with me before?
when we arrived in Caracas, this woman came up to our hotel room with a briefcase full of cash because they have 2 currencies. There's the official one that you have to pay at the hotels, but then there's a black market currency that all the locals use. So we had to swap out currencies. It was amazing. Yeah,
I didn't know
It was
that.
like
A whole
some-
second currency?
Yeah, it was like a whole James Bond thing. It was cool.
When did you go to Venezuela?
I think that was 2013. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't do those trips. That's not.
No,
really
that was
happening
the
anymore.
SI days when
I got one when I went to Costa Rica with Morgan Hoffman. That was about it. But those sort of like, give me 3 days and I'll hang out with you.
I was there for like a week. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra has a cold.
More
Days
or
are
less.
over, right?
Yeah.
All right, who would be your pick, Ben?
I wanted to get somebody at 2 under. I just feel like that's like a good number. And I think Colin Morikawa is at 2.
1, I think.
He's at 1. All right, I'll take
Yeah.
Colin at 1.
Yeah, you've been liking Colin this week.
I think he's just like getting really close. I mean, I know it's a major, but you guys keep saying it's at a PGA Tour event, so why not?
Yeah, why not? Awesome. Well, good stuff. That was our round on recap. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday. That's Friday, tomorrow.
Tomorrow's
I
Friday.
will be back myself on Saturday. That was awesome. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. We're gonna keep yapping, keep talking about golf. And thanks for doing it. We're out of here.